What is going on, everybody? So now we are here. This is the second part. The first part, if you guys haven't seen it, I drew Aaron's Titan form traditionally, unedited. So now we are going to draw the female Titan traditionally unedited. And as you guys can see, like this is the regular web camera. This is the higher resolution camera right here with the DSLR. So that's what we're gonna do. This is like one of these old drawings I've done. The main reason why I didn't have like the previous video, I was talking without showing my face. Well, without showing this because I have a mask. That's because of the mask. You know, it's really hard to talk with having the mask on. So shout out to the people who could do this live stream with a mask on because that is quite difficult. But anyway, enough of me talking. Let's dive into it. And yes, there'll be more talking, but I'm going to be drawing while talking, right? And let's switch the scene to more of the close up, as you guys can see. And just to show, legitimacy as well, I could just, put this closer to the camera. I don't know if you guys can see that. So anybody out there who are like, is he legit? He's not legit, And then also turn the page. This is what I did before with the Aaron Titan right here. So we're going to draw the female Titan. So as I switch over, now I'm going to just take off the mask. So it'll be easier to talk because, okay, that's much better. Okay, way better. Now I can actually breathe better and talk. So imagine if I was doing a live stream the whole entire time like that. That will be a pain. All right. So we start on a new page, empty, and throughout this, no edits. We're gonna start from the beginning like this with an empty canvas to the end, where it's gonna be a full sketch of the female Titan. So if you guys like this type of format, of course, down below, comment down below, and you guys see the CTA underneath here. I'm trying to point to it like down there, like, share, subscribe. All right, so let's do it. Make sure this is what a good start. Okay, there we go. I just want to make sure the pen is good because a lot of the pens that I have are starting to die out. All right, so I'm gonna do the female Titan. So from this angle, this one here, I did it from the right hand side 3/4 view, right? So this time I'm gonna actually switch it up. I'm gonna put it on the left hand 3/4 view. And let's see. Usually as a guy, I used to struggle a lot drawing women, which makes sense because that's the average trope for male artists is to struggle drawing women. And it's funny because like most male artists, or I speak for myself, once you get used to it, all of a sudden you just make them. I just make them like voluptuous and made them look extremely looking like they're only bands. Just replace the B with the F before even only bands existed. I was doing all that. All right. Let's see what we can do here. I kind of make this a little bit big, but it is what it is. It's a ballpoint pen. So once you put it there, there's no turning back. So that's the gift, and I guess that is also the curse of the ballpoint pen. It is what it is. And I like doing this type of contrast where I'm able to populate the content because YouTube is all about watch time hours, and it's pretty difficult to do that with shorts unless your YouTube shorts go viral, and it just so happens to get a crazy amount of numbers. But even with that, I've heard that even when you're partnered, you don't really make too much out of it, um, unfortunately. So this is why I'm pivoting towards. I'm still doing shorts, of course, but pivoting towards doing more of these like long format videos. And let me make sure if let me see. Okay, perfect. The mic is on because there was times with my old channels back then where I thought the mic was on, and it turns out it wasn't. And I'm just like, dang it. So then I'm just so then the audio was muted the whole entire time. Okay. Just adding some of this, and then gotta add her nose. I think her name is Annie, right? Annie. I like Annie's nose. I like that her nose has a bit of like a arc to it. It's just that asymmetry to me has like a unique beauty. Like not everything needs to be like ideal. Sometimes it's the asymmetrical proportions that makes it more beautiful in my opinion. Don't say in the comment section that I like ugly women. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Okay, so you know, one man's trash, another man's treasure. All right, so I'm just adding the mouth. She never really has like you know a smiley face. She's always very militant and serious. All right, so now here I'm really just gonna take it slow here because it is. I always take it slow whenever I draw a woman. I just want to make sure I got everything right before you know it. Always make that mistake, and again, no turning back since this is a pen. And just to let you know, I'm always a broken record. Okay, so for all those people out there, it was like you're saying the same thing over and over. You say something different. Too bad. Yeah. Well, I guess the difference since I am a man of my word, I am a fitness enthusiast. Today was in fact leg day. It wasn't too bad. The beginning was quite difficult because I was doing lunges, right? Walking lunges back and forth. I did that 10 times in my gym, and my legs it wasn't as bad as the first time. My body's getting used to it, but it sucks. I say that now, but then I could just wake up in the morning and start feeling the effects. Um, so that's that. And I just use like a 30-pound dumbbell, and I just walk with that, holding on to it and doing the range of motion from there. So yeah, just bring this right here. Da, 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 da. Okay. So I'm just working on the hair. I've been working on the hair, and then also like I was proud of myself today because I did the most amount of reps of doing bicep curls, standing bicep curls with a 30-pound dumbbell. I did 40 reps straight, and that's the most I've ever done straight. I do 50 in total, but I did 40 straight, and then I did the rest of the 10. So proud of myself for that because it shows that my strength is starting to increase, which is always good if you're trying to build and sculpt the muscle, right? But I still, I'm always really hard on myself, not just with art, but just working out and my overall physique. Health comes first, foremost, but the times where I'm just like, yeah, like I'm not happy where I'm at. I don't think in the end of the day, I don't think we can truly be happy. I think in the end of the day, as far as like building the body, we just have to be content, right? I don't have body dysmorphia, don't get me wrong. Like I used to um a few years ago when I'm just like, dang, I was saying that I was fat, but yet I was really lean. Like that was really a good example of body dysmorphia because I was comparing myself to people who are not natural, which is doesn't make any sense. But now it's like, I got body fat. As you guys can see, me no shirt on doing the poses, using the self timer on my camera. I definitely got body fat, especially a bit of gyno. I got a gynecomastia, you know, and that's because I gotta take accountability. That's the thing about the body, is that is a reflection of the choices you make. So you cannot say, well, it was because it's not my fault. I just happened. No, it is your fault. It is your fault. You make the decision of opening your mouth to eat that food, and now you have to deal with the consequences of that. And yeah, I'm just dealing with the consequences of that because you can't outwork a poor eating lifestyle. I call it eating lifestyle rather than a diet because a diet doesn't make any sense. Why would you do something that you're just gonna do temporarily and then you're gonna get off of it? Like, to me, I'm like, what? Um, so I just call it an eating lifestyle. Um, so yeah, I just been eating a lot of fast food for the past few years, and of course, the body it catches up to you no matter what. Doesn't matter if you train hard; it don't mean anything if your eating lifestyle is terrible. So yeah, my eating lifestyle is terrible. I am getting better. I'm definitely getting better at it as far as like staying away from fast food. It's very tempting, but I'm at the transition where I'm okay with not desiring fast food all the time. It's just, of course, it can be quite difficult when you are out, right? Especially when you're around people who are not doing what you're doing and then they want to eat fast food and you get caught up in the peer pressure. So that's something that I have the tendency of avoiding. I'm like, nope, I am not dealing with that. It's always gets the most powerful thing you could say is, of course, no. Say no. You know, so that's what I'm dealing with. But yeah, other than that, making this social media channel. This is like my 30th or 20th YouTube channel. Um, I made so many others that didn't go anywhere. So this is not my first rodeo at all. But at the same time, I just it's just in me. I just enjoy making content, even though they don't really get views. Um, but it just makes me become much more comfortable and more fluent with whatever I'm making. And now I'm at the point where I don't really focus on like what's trending right now. Like I don't really care about that. I just move in my own speed. I don't want to make it become like I'm getting burnt out cuz you could become your worst enemy, honestly. Like, oh, I got to do this. Why do you have to? You don't have to do anything. Life is about choices, right? So, I used to be caught up in stuff like that. Like, oh, I have to do this, and then when doing it, it don't even get you the views, and you get all pissed off, and you get mad at yourself. So that's what happened. I got mad at myself because I wasn't confident, and I was angry because I wanted that gratification. But now I'm at the point now where it's just like I do. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, making the digital artwork is of course difficult for sure, but at the same time, this is why I do this as well. I do both because you want to have variety on the channel, but also as a just make it content, right? In general, you want to put yourself in a situation where you're not getting burnt out. So you want to have that you want to have that variety. You don't want to get so caught up in the same thing. And even if the same thing is easy, it will become boring or it's no longer a challenge. For me, it's the opposite. It's like it's a challenge making them, right? It takes me a few days to create the digital art. So here, as you know, I want to do the opposite. I want to do traditional here and have it unedited compared to the shorts where it's highly edited and it's less than a minute long. I want to do something that's traditional and is much longer and is done when the illustration is done, the sketch is done. So that's that. Well, starting to come along. I like to do I'm not gonna lie, my Achilles heel because artists were not perfect, and for me it's like I love drawing faces. I love emoting, like having face expressions. My Achilles heel, of course, is is the body. Like drawing bodies are difficult for me. I have to take a lot longer to captivate the body. Drawing like head to toe is difficult for me, but close ups is what I really love to do because you could get so much detail close up that it don't have to look realistic, but at least you can it captivates the emotion. Maybe because I'm really into movies, and with movies you see a lot of like close-ups with the cinematography, or even anime in general. Like the close-ups is what really, it's just, human beings, we connect towards that. Like the eyes is a window to the soul, right? So that's why I really like to captivate like the emotion of the person. And just to let you know, there are going to be times where I'm not going to talk. I'm not a machine. I cannot just talk so much and then draw. So, there's going to be times where I take a little, um, the silences will be there a few times. Just saying that as a disclaimer. Because I'm like, now it's starting to get towards detail and making bold decisions. So I have to now be committed while drawing it. Like, should I do it like this? Should I do it like that? All that type of stuff. And with this channel, I definitely don't want to be one of those channels where you just look at something and be like, hey, that's cool. And then you just move on to something else. Like, I definitely want the channel to become something meaningful, where we can just talk about stuff in life. Life is difficult, man. But you know what? In the end of the day, I I used to go through that phase of I'm independent, I'm by myself. Like there's no such thing as independent because we live in this one world. You know what I'm saying? So like it's one world. This one world we are sharing like it's a home because it is a home. So never just push yourself push yourself away because you didn't like X, Y, and Z. Like communities is what makes us strong, not individualism. Individualism is what makes people weaker because now you got to do everything on your own. Newsflash, you cannot do everything on your own. Even though, yes, society made it easier, but it is impossible to do everything on your own. So I'm just telling you that from my own experience, right? Because we all got to learn and grow, you know. And hopefully I can inspire you guys to, everything is up to you, but you got to be smart with it at the same time. Just because everybody is trying to be a content creator, that doesn't mean you have to follow what everybody else is doing, right? Like don't follow in my opinion, like the Logan Pauls and Jake Pauls and all that stuff, because it's like if you're in a situation where you are working a 9 to 5, sometimes it's best to separate that. Like keep it, less is more. Keep it private. Don't just try to do something for the sake of doing something for attention just to hit a viral moment and then it doesn't work out. Or let's say it does work out and all of a sudden like your job sees that you're doing this and that and then it cuts you off. Or people are talking about you on the internet in a negative way. So now your reputation's on the line. So now it's like, how can you even bounce back from applying for jobs when nobody want to work with you because of what you said about X, Y, and Z? So yeah, you got to just stay away from certain controversies and certain things because yeah, you get the views, but then is it worth it if you lose, you know, you lose your livelihood, like your job, you lose a place, like cuz internet and reality, the lines could be blurred, but they are two different things. And it's good to separate it. The older I'm getting, the more I relate to Superman, like between Clark Kent and Superman, because you don't want to mix the two because certain things are not meant to be mixed. People say oil and water, they don't mix. Well, that's the same thing in a lot of regards to social media. Like you gotta be professional and you gotta know how to do things in a delicate way. Don't just do it out of brash because these influencers are like, nah, like you don't know who they are. Behind the scenes, it may not be as, all that glitter ain't gold. It may not be as great as you think it is. Yeah, it might even be the opposite, and you're just influenced by it because that's what the advertisement wants you to do. They want is programmed for you to be jealous and to have envy, and then have um a bad direction. Like, oh, I should do this. Maybe I should prank somebody so I could not. If that's not you, don't do it. Just because everybody else is doing it doesn't mean you have to do it. Let's see, I'm working on the hair, just shaping it up now. Now it's the point where I'm starting to add more value towards the face. Now I'm starting to sculpt the face out with some of these shadows. And as you can see, it's very delicate compared to the Aaron one. Aaron one was much more brash because it's a guy, right? So with a woman, I still want to keep the femininity going. All right, add that right here. And even for anyone in the comments section as well, I understand people hide behind avatars, but even that, you'd be surprised. Like companies could easily I'm not saying don't say anything, don't do anything, but don't get too loose where you're saying like inappropriate things because I'm telling you, like it will blow up in your face. And then you're gonna be like, that wasn't me. That wasn't like if people want to find you, they can. So you got to be very careful. And I'm not saying that to not encourage you to follow whatever you want to be a content creator, fine, but just be careful. Don't just get influenced by the wrong people. Because think about it. A lot of these content creators, that's all they got. You know what I'm saying? Like, so worst case scenario, they cannot work a 9 to 5. Think about like some of the basketball players too. They got so much tattoos and all this stuff that some jobs don't accept it, despite how popular they are. So they put all their eggs in the basket, no pun intended. All right. I'm being so delicate with it. Like I'm not even really going harsh with the lighting and with the shadows, I mean. All right, let me go a little bit harsher here because this is supposed to be way darker. Just give her like eyelids like right here. Damn, there's so much line work here that it has to be darker. I know I'm about to be biased here, but I'm gonna call it an elephant in the room. But it is still understandable. Yes, I do prefer with Attack on Titans. I do prefer the 2D look, the 2D animation with season 1 and season 2. With the Titans over um, the more 3D animated look that happened in the final seasons. Um, I'm not gonna spoil Attack on Titans. I definitely check it out if you guys haven't checked it out. I ain't going spoiler territory. I'm just simply saying um, the Titans look 50 times better with 2D over 3D. But I understand why they had to do it in 3D because it's um it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, you know. Um, and that's another reason why I do these drawings because yeah, I'm a fan like everybody else, but you know, it makes me appreciate the amount of detail because I'm replicating it in my interpretation, so I'm able to see it and appreciate it more than the average person, And it's not saying I'm better or whatever, it's just like photography. Like certain people, when you're taking a picture for something professional, you're looking at it more than the average person who just walks past it. So the next level of that is an artist who is trying to draw visually what they're seeing than just taking a picture. So, and not everything here, I just want to say as a disclaimer, not everything I'm gonna draw here is gonna come out good. This is all just looking at the reference in front of my screen right here, and just going about it like that. And I don't know how long the videos are gonna be, but it's just based upon when I feel like the sketch is good to go. And I still got a few projects that I'm working on at the time of this recording. There's still a lot of stuff that's already I have scheduled because drawings take a long time to make, like the digital artwork. So I planned them out in advance and had them scheduled so you guys could see it eventually. Um, but then that gives me a breathing room to work on other stuff. So tomorrow I'm gonna be doing another drawing. We'll see. Traditionally, um, we'll see with maybe the Armor Titan because I have the Armor Titan ready here at the time of recording, and the Colossus Titan is there too. But I also got digital art of something else that I can't talk about yet. I still got to work on that. I worked on one of them, but I got to work on another one. Here, and I'm going really light. Going really, really light. I'm just trying not to make too much mistakes. Normally, I'm just a lot rougher. Yeah, just sculpting it out. I do need a dark direction so it could look much more 3D. So I think with the light direction, I'm gonna make it darker here so that way it can kind of fold onto the other side. So let me do that right now. So more contrast here. Contrast, in case you don't know, is just the values of lights and shadows. That's what makes things look more realistic when there are more lights and shadows. And when you have a directional light or directional shadow, it makes the other side of it look more three-dimensional. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Make these parts a lot darker. I think a lot of artists will have this discussion of like what's more important, drawing out of your head or drawing from reference. I say do both. If you go learn both, the better. That means use the reference. Like I have the reference right here. You guys can't see it, but I have the reference on my computer screen. Use the reference, but don't make a photocopy of the reference. So that's the best hybrid. Like here, right, like with this drawing, there is no angle of this. There's no reference that I'm trying to replicate of this. So I'm just looking at the reference, but I'm creating it out of my head, the positioning and how I'm setting it up, you know. But there are artists who they can't do that. They simply need to draw the reference exactly as they see it. And this is going to be a bit of a hot take, but to me, that's more of a draftsman than an artist. A draftsman is someone who's good at observation. Like they can draw exactly what they're seeing from observation, but they lack the creativity of just drawing it from a different angle. They need the reference, So But then there's other artists who are the opposite of that. Like they cannot draw from reference for the life of them, but they could draw a lot of creative stuff out of their heads. That's why I say do both. You gotta learn both, so that way you don't be in a situation where you know that's your Achilles heel. Like, oh, I can't. There's no reference in front of me. Oh man, I can't draw this. Or, oh, you want me to use reference? I can't draw from observation. Like, you don't want to be in a situation like that. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not talking as if I'm the greatest and whatever, because like my Achilles heel is that I can't really draw hands, and it's hard for me to draw bodies from head to toe. I mean, I could do it, but at that point, I need the reference. I definitely need reference. Making sure with the best of my capabilities if the anatomy is good. Um, but yeah, stuff like this with a sketch, I'm not really paying too much attention towards, um, having to look great. This is just a good representation of a sketch with what I'm seeing from observation. And that's another reason why I use my body as reference, because it makes it so much easier because of the reference that I have. And that's another reason why I have the mask as well, because if I was to have these pictures without with showing my face, then when I'm lower down the opacity of the photograph, my body is gonna my mind and my body is gonna make the illustrations look like me, and I don't want the illustrations to look like me. That's another reason why I have the mask on. It just makes it a lot easier. It's just good for the head positioning, and then I just take it from there, as opposed to, oh man, I see my face, but I have to ignore my face. Like, yeah, that's that. Just a little bit, just just polishing up, just rendering the muscles right here. And I made that darker on purpose because this hair is supposed to be lighter. But since I've created the light source right here, that means over here is supposed to be darker. So I have to make it darker right here. If I don't make it darker right here, then I am not obeying the laws of physics, or should I say the laws of the light source. If there's no rules, then the viewer is gonna be like, I don't know anything about that, but it looks off. It's the same thing when we watch movies and you can't put your finger to why the CGI is off. Like, I don't know what's going on, but it just looks uncanny. Like, I'm just not connected with the CGI. I could tell the CGI. And in good CGI, it's like it's either stylized where you could tell it is, but it's passable. And then the phenomenal ones where it's like you didn't even know that was CGI. And that's because of the light source. When you really master lights and shadows, you're able to even convince the masses, even artists, like myself, that dang, I didn't even know that was CGI. Like I thought that was real. And that's pretty much what I'm saying about this. It's like it's just they go by the rules of light sources. That's what makes things look more dynamic and either stylized or realistic. And this is not a fancy. This is a regular pen. It's a regular ballpoint pen. That's all it is. It's a regular ballpoint pen. You can get it at Staples, get it on Amazon. Nothing fancy about these pens. 'Cause I know there's artists out there that be like kind of bougie a little bit. They'll have like really expensive stuff, and people are thinking, I need to buy these expensive stuff because that's why their artwork looks so great. Like, no, this is definitely not the case with that. This is something that you literally have in your own place. I'm not sponsored by these people. By what is it called? Bic? I never even knew the name of it till now. Bic. Bic. Round style. Oh wow, this is about to run out of. You guys see that? It's about to run out of ink. The ink is literally like right here. That's crazy. About to run out. Well, hopefully this could be finished, and I don't have to. But even if worst case scenario, look at all this. Let's see this right here. Like, look at all this. Like, I got so many ballpoints. Yeah. I was gonna have a backup of a backup of a backup. All right, let's get. I'm not gonna lie, this I don't have reference of her back view, so I literally just I messed up here, but it is what it is. Um, I don't have reference of it, so this is just improvised. It's not accurate at all. So it's a sketch. I'll live. If I was to do like a digital artwork of this, then that's different. I'll have to do my due diligence and um find a back view, but sketch is fine. Speaking of due diligence, if you guys haven't seen a colossal titan, my goodness, out of all the titans I've drawn recently doing these digital artwork, the Colossus Titan by far, digitally is the most was the most tedious. It was the most challenging, I should say, too. And I didn't realize how detailed the Colossus Titan was, and until I started drawing it, I could understand why even in the season one, season two of Attack on Titan, I could see why they had him CGI. I could see why, because that's just a lot of work, a lot of work. And then he got the teeth going on the sides. It's a mixture of like this anatomy book right here. So it's a mixture of trying to captivate this type of face, um, but with a mixture of the stylized version of the anime. So it's I was proud of the way it came out, but it I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a human being. There was times where I was questioning it whether or not I could finish it. Like I was kind of in that phase, like, okay, I think I caught a bit more than I can chew. And whenever I go through that once in a while, I just take a step back. I'm like, look, if I'm not feeling too good with the drawing, I'm not proud of the way it's coming out, or I'm getting too tired, it's not the end of the world. Take a step back, do other things. I'll go to the gym and just, use that as a stress reliever. Something of variety rather than being on the computer, looking at the computer screen for a long time and getting frustrated. I'll just move away from the computer. Hence the reason why, it's a really good variety between working out and, making artwork on the computer. It's a very good variety because it's like you're doing a different type of labor that's completely um different, different feeling, right? So that really helps me out whenever I'm in situations like that, or I just step outside, you know and just get some fresh air, because it's not good to stay indoors no matter how much you like your artwork. It is not ideal to stay indoors. Go outside, touch some grass. You don't have to. That's one of those things as well that's important, that I'm learning, right? I'm giving myself advice. Um, you don't have to go outside thinking like, oh, I'm not going outside because nobody else is going outside with me. Like, no, like you can just go outside. People get just like if you want to go on vacation, you don't need to go on vacation with people. Don't let people hold you back. If you want to go somewhere, then go somewhere. You don't need people. People is cool. Icing on the cake. Just like when I go to the gym, I don't need to work out with somebody. I can just go by myself. Certain things just go by yourself. You can still enjoy the same experience. You don't need it with people. So if you want fresh air, go get some fresh air. That's what I do all the time. Can't be stuck in your place, just in a dungeon. It's like that's not healthy. You have life. You're meant to be underneath the sun. Enjoy life while you're still alive. That's why I'll be making this content. Like it's not all about I need to get so many views. Oh no, I don't got the views. I give up. Like, I've been there, done that. I've been through that phase. Now I'm just like, I'm just enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. Not caught up in all that, you know, craziness. Just enjoying life. One joint at a time, you know. And don't let your 9 to 5 or whatever you do stop you from what you enjoy. What you enjoy, and it doesn't need to be skills. It could be like, yo, if you want to play video games, if that's what makes you happy, go right ahead. For me, is drawing and is going to the gym, and that's why I made this channel. Kill two birds with one stone. But it's not a fitness channel where I'm gonna show you guys like this is what you're supposed to do to build a latissimus dorsi, or be in a calorie deficit. Eat this, eat that. Like, no, no. Figure out. I'm not holding your hand. Figure out what works for you. You know, just because I'm doing this, as far as like my workout activity, doesn't mean you have to do the same. And you may not even get the results. You got to figure out what works for you and what gets you your results. And that's trial and error. Just like drawing. I figured things out and I went through a lot of trial and error. Just like YouTube. I made so many different YouTube channels, trial and error. Over 20 different YouTube channels. Can you believe that? I never quit. Things happen for a reason. I don't regret it. It got me to where I'm at right now. Even though I have less than 10 subscribers at the time of the recording, that doesn't mean the channel has less value. I don't look at numbers as if it has value. The real value comes from the skills or whatever you provide. So it's not a matter of if. The more you put in the work, it's a matter of when. That's how I move, you know. And that's how you should move, That's what as advice. Don't feel intimidated by people or numbers. Who cares? You start off with one, or you start off with zero, and then you build. You build, you build, you build. And that's why I make these type of stuff where I'm drawing and talking, and it's more authentic rather than, oh, I'm insecure because the video is too long. No, I don't care about that. Or I said something that could be bad and the viewers might not care. Well, real recognize real. I'm not here pandering towards fakeness. If you don't like this type of long version content, that's not my problem. But I'm not going to change. I like the contrast between short format, where it's a lot of work and I edit, and then long format, where it's traditional and it's unedited. So I'm talking. I don't even talk in the short format videos anyway. Just music. All right. This one obviously is much longer of a duration because it's the female Titan. Imagine how long it's gonna take for the colossal Titan. Yeah, that's gonna take some time. I'm gonna really have to look at that reference. And it's funny because when I really get in the zone, I'm not even looking at the reference right now. I'm just kind of just going with the flow, just feeling it. I can feel it. Right. Almost. Uh, my whole thing is to make sure it's not like an hour long. Maybe the colossal title will be an hour. Who knows? Make this darker. Right. That darker. And then, oh, okay, Doki, making this darker. Now I'm adding some more darkness over here. That's her hair right there. All right. So we can pop out a little bit more. And then also right here too. Right over here. Yeah, so yeah, the camera that I'm using here is much more of a higher resolution than the webcam. Um, this is a Sony. I think it's a Sony A5100. And then I bought the extra lens, so that way um, is more detailed, uh, so you can see the drawing more than the webcam. Webcam will be more pixelated, low res. I remember during the pandemic, webcams was supply and demand. People, there was a time where I still have the webcam you just saw before, the Logitech. It was They was selling it for like $100 and something dollars. I'm like, this is crazy. Like the actual price of it before, it went back to regular price, but it was like $60. But during the pandemic, it was like more than double the price. Everybody was just home. You know, everybody was buying those webcams. I got two webcams. I got the that and I got the Logitech Brio. I don't really use a Logitech Brio, but maybe I'll have it for like a different angle. I don't know. It's better to have more than to have less in terms of equipment, especially on like social media. But don't get overboard like what I did. Work your way up. Develop an audience first. Don't think that, oh, I gotta buy the more crazy equipment. Then you just kind of you gotta feel like you gotta feel like you wasted your money. Especially now with TikTok. Use your phone. And then over time, when it really picks up momentum, then you can slowly start upgrading like the microphone and audio, and camera, and all that stuff. 'Cause, yeah, back then I didn't do that. I got so many stuff that it's like, yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna use it, but who knows? Maybe in the future. I don't know. All right, added some of that right there. What is it? Almost 50 minutes. I remember back then when I was in college, we had to do like 5 minute drawings, 10 minute drawings. We had 1 minute drawings, 5 minute drawings, 10 minute drawings, and the last one was like 30 minute drawings. I think that's one of the reasons why like I'm able to kind of draw fast because of that. I mean, I was faster before. I definitely slowed down now because I don't really draw too much traditionally nowadays. Alright. Add a little bit of shadow right here. Almost as if she got bruised right there. I don't know why. Just want to create that volume. I think this is pretty much good to go. Just doing some touches. Whenever I work on something for a long time, I start sounding like a frog. I think I'm almost died with the Dodgers. Ribbit, 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 ribbit. I'm gonna try to make this a little bit more darker. This didn't come out too bad. Could have refined it a bit more, but hey, it's a sketch. All right, so like always put the date, time of this recording, and there you have it. Annie, female Titan. Just last time I didn't really do like a close up, so look at that. There you go, close up of Annie. So we got from Aaron, that was before. Now we got Annie. So what do you guys think in the comment section below? Stay tuned for the next future videos and see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.